Hey guys, welcome back to the Dance of Evolving. It's been a minute since I've been on here to do anything outside of DJing and sharing music, but I decided that I would know and that there would be a time that I got a message that I just could not share. So during the full moon last night, I really, spent some time and was tapping into an energy and getting messages. And it's time to share with you guys. So today I can tell I'm going to be really kind of focusing on the inside job of creating a relationship with your future self. However, with the acceptance of where you are in the here and now. It's a true integration of self-acceptance and seeing also that your self-acceptance of where you are right now is to your highest path. If you're experiencing any kind of turmoil in your life right now, you're going through hard times, you're feeling that you are being caused to let go or separated from something, or that you're just having a major shift in your life, this message will be for you. And I want to start out by I'm pulling today. I pulled from Healing Waters with Rebecca Campbell, and then the traditional tarot deck. And I really started out thinking about just the idea, even while I was shuffling the cards, about how everything is truly an inside job. That it's an interesting thing that we can't control a single thing outside of us. But the most empowering thing that we can do is just observe what's happening around us, and to be able then to see how our thoughts and our actions, our emotions are reacting or responding, and to be able to use that as alchemy. And while I was thinking about that yesterday, I really was thinking about the duality that we live in, and the duality that we live in between love and fear. I mean, we are higher beings. We are higher energetic beings. We exchange energy constantly, every day, even while we're asleep. And to know that we have this highest version of ourselves that we can hold and almost coach ourselves into our highest path, but also the fear that we walk in every day. So moving in that dance of love and fear, and knowing that the duality is part of our human experience, and knowing that fear is really the pathway. It's testing the resolve to live in the energy of love. If we did not experience fear, we would not truly experience love. So let's move into, if you're having a hard time kind of accepting what's going on in your life, or you're just experiencing like loss or fear or worry or anxiety, how do we actually create a relationship with our future self? So we're going to go ahead and just channel in some messages from the tarot deck and from Rebecca Campbell. And before even going into the tarot deck, I pulled from the Rebecca Campbell Healing Waters deck, and what came out was the Pearl. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll display each card as I speak about them. But when you think about a natural pearl, this represents alchemy, the reward at the end. And I think about the actual saying is from grit to grace. So think about how your life could be an example right now, even if you're really experiencing something hard. But I'm being called to tell you that this grit is necessary for the grace to come. And so in order to have this true integration of the self-acceptance in the here and now of where we are, where we feel that we have all of our flaws. I mean, I can't tell you how many things I feel like I need to do to get into a state of being worthy. So dropping that narrative and knowing that where we are right now is exactly where we need to be. And then being able to see the path ahead from the grit to grace. Thinking about the formation of a pearl, I started to really ponder on this, and it's such a rare occurrence. There are so many miracles just in our everyday lives that we can see, and this is something that occurs that is truly a miracle. There's one in about every 10,000 oysters that produce a pearl, and it takes 6 months up to several years. And, we are cyclical beings, so we can learn a lot about nature and a lot about our own true nature and how to move toward that and how to let go of fear by looking at the cycles of nature. And knowing that, thinking about that anything you're going through right now, representing this pearl from grit to grace, that whatever you've been through serves as alchemy, true alchemy, to create something truly sacred. The fact that the grit happens in order to survive, and then it forms a pearl, like insane. And these are the deep roots, that grit that you are feeling right now, that pain, that sense of loss, the sense of separation, the sense of lack, or the sense of attachment, or even wanting to control things that are out of your control. Those are all coming up to form those deep roots that are required to truly rise. You're called to create something sacred. Truly. I mean, think about one in about every 10,000 oysters produce a pearl. And what you're going through right now is the production of the pearl. And I was really called to think, like, what if we wake up with the open-heartedness and the willingness to receive the jewels of our life, and knowing that they take sometimes heartache, tragedy, pain. But if we can shift, and it's okay, hold space for if we feel sad or depressed or anything that you feel is valid. So it's important to take the time to hold space for that, but also to know that you don't need to sit in the sorrow for that forever, that you can alchemize these hardships into healing. And that is truly the grit to grace. So our first message is the pearl, and how this is why we're here. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. This is a lifelong journey. Grit to grace is a lifelong journey. But during that journey, you will be able to create so many sacred things. Everything that you slow down and you really take in the moment can become sacred. And your state of being will become a sacred gift to this world. So from grit to grace. And then I was being called to, as in saying from grit to grace, like, let's now hone in and focus on relationships. We are in lessons of love. And that's going to be one of the hardest things that we go through. It's so easy to isolate ourselves. But to truly, with an open heart, be ready to open ourselves to relationships. And I pulled the Justice card. This could be a romantic relationship. This could be a relationship with friends. This could be even just in general what you've been going through in relationships. When we think, what is it like to have true justice in relationships outside of our own emotions, what we feel like we need? This stands for truth, for fairness, for accountability also within ourselves, and just the pure universal law of cause and effect. The main thing I'm being called to share is, in any relationship, is be true to yourself. And in doing that, slowing down enough to use your intuition to set your moral compass. The ways of this world are not the ways that you follow. You already know that. We are in a lot of stories, a lot of programs. Love has been taught to us in a different way than love's true nature. You are being called to break through those stories. Your intuition is the only thing that can truly set your moral compass. And you can't just tap into that when you're in victim mode and when you're feeling hurt. So hold space for that. I've been in it. I was just in it last week, and I find myself in it a little bit every day. But really thinking, where have I been avoiding conflict? And then this is where I pulled the Five of Wands, but this was reversed. And the Five of Wands reversed really thinks about, how can I respect differences? People could do us wrong. And yes, it might not be right in the moment, or it might not even align with our boundaries. But really what we're being called to ask ourselves is, how can I respect differences and resolve conflict in love and compassion, and in a way that achieves your goals? So even thinking about in your relationship, examining yourself with self-compassion, but really with a self-compassionate microscope, with curiosity, and thinking, what are really my goals when it comes to relationships? And as we do that in relationships, we're going to have that grit to grace consistently, to be able to see where we have been in our human nature. Our ego is not a bad thing. It's necessary for us to get to our highest path. So seeing as humans in relationships, where do I feel lack? Where do I want to control? Where do I feel attached? And what is this showing me about myself, so I can better understand what's happening? Does it mean you have to accept everything and let it in your space? No. But learn what empowerment is as you ask yourself, how can I respect differences and resolve conflict in love and compassion? And this is a love bigger than self. It's not about being right. It's about understanding. Then I moved into, and I pulled the Eight of Wands, and this was upright. And this follows beautifully after the Justice card and the Five of Wands reversed, because the Eight of Wands upright is a call to action. Life is moving ahead with your intuition as a moral compass now. How can you take action today in any relationship that you are being faced with? This requires rapid action. Sometimes the action could be holding yourself space for your emotions, to understand them and to not suppress them. It can mean mentally exhausting your emotions to its folly, so you see things. Shifting perspectives is a call to action. It can also be quick decisions just in the day-to-day matters, but focusing not on the stories of this world, but your intuition. And with this, being willing to move through beliefs that no longer serve you. I just even had the realization, pulling this card, of thinking about moving through beliefs that no longer serve you. These are not illusions necessarily. They are a construct of what we've built up based on experiences, our programs, our thoughts, our behaviors, our actions. So it is a reality that we are in, but moving through those realities and rewriting those narratives. And in doing so, and in being the state of being, love is a state of being. It's an authentic thing. Nothing else can match that. And having the state of action in an intuitive way with clarity and thinking, asking yourself each day, what are your visions? What are your goals? You will see through your own realities that then can become illusions, but accepting the duality of feeling insecure, but also being empowered, knowing that we're going to feel loss when we lose a relationship, or there's death, but in another dimension, there is not death. Holding space for both dualities. And then deep in your subconscious, facing and walking through fears as gateways through freedom, empowering yourself from darkness to light, which then moves perfectly to the moon. I pulled the moon card for us. And this moves into the transcending the fears. Knowing that we might be in realities that are not other people's realities, but also knowing that we can hold space for what we feel and transcend, truly transcending realities. Thinking about your life purpose as a state of being. What does this look like in the future for you? How do you move in your life's purpose? What is your vision? Clarity of vision can help you clear the fogginess of everyday life. And then moving into, and we're talking about way more than just relationships now. We're talking about moving in lessons of love as our life purpose. Truly. Being able to transcend any limiting beliefs, any stories or programs that we're in, breaking this in our lineage, ancestrally. Being able to walk through things and understanding consciousness as a state of being, a state of love out loud. Which then the next card blew my mind when I pulled it. It's the death card. Endings, separation, profound change. This is you. This is me. This is where we are. The part of the collective who are ready to transcend what we've agreed to transcend in this lifetime. To move through realities that no longer serve us. And to understand the world in such a way that we are a love bigger than self, but yet holding space for the ego, holding space for the duality that we live in. This is pure rebirth. Asking yourself, what am I afraid of letting go? What do I see myself attached to? And then even deeper, why am I attaching to this? What do I truly fear? This is a daily dance of awareness. The death card doesn't mean something's bad is going to happen. The death card can also mean that you are about to be reborn. Go into the cocoon as much as you need. That could be the immediate action. And then thinking here with your life's purpose, with your mission, facing beliefs that might keep you feeling in comparison and lack, and like you're not being seen, that you're not good enough. If you feel that you are not good enough in a scenario, you're not seeing yourself as good enough. And that's coming up so you can walk through that belief. So asking yourself, where do I feel myself feeling bitter, closed off, comparing, and really, really thinking, do I have the best in mind for everyone? And with this, I pulled the Queen of Swords reversed. A lot of times we can think we're moving in a path of love, but really thinking, if we're moving in an area feeling lack or bitter or closed off, do we really have the best in mind for everyone? Asking yourself, where can I shift my perception? Where can I clear my mind of stories or beliefs? or maybe past experiences that are limiting me? And how can I communicate what is best for everyone? Because anytime we feel something that doesn't feel good, it's a messenger of truth. And with that messenger of truth, we get to be the example to the other recipient of a relationship that we're in. Everything is in relationship. Everything. I'm here with my dog, and this is in a relationship. So how do we see the best in mind for everyone? So then moving into a reflection state. And this is the Ten of Pentacles upright. And with the Ten of Pentacles upright, really thinking about, what have I learned from this journey thus far? From that grit to grace, that consistent journey that will clear the way for the legacy, inheritance, and culmination of my soul's evolution. We are here to evolve. We are here to transcend. We are here to be the example. And we are here to go through the grit, not to ignore it. This will require a time of winter, and that call to action could be your time of winter. Slowing down to reflect, feeling your body, observing your mind, and integrating your spirit. Even thinking in the past where you've moved and you felt depleted. Where do you see fleeting success that doesn't turn the needle toward my life's calling anymore? Where was I moving to find external worth when I'm already internally worthy where I'm at? And coming with the understanding, with the Ten of Pentacles upright, when I do things for the wrong why, there's a lack of resources. We will feel depleted. So being able to stop and accept ourselves where we are, but think, what is this showing me? And then moving to the last tarot card that I pulled in the deck. And this has moved from relationships and lesson of love to our life's calling, which also is to continue this lesson of love with everything external to us. How do we become in a loving relationship? How do we love life itself? How do we be the example of love out loud? And I pulled the King of Pentacles upright. And with this, we can become problem solvers. Problems are simply, they are illusions. However, we can hold space for these illusions. But these problems are illusions that we have fed with fear. We're meant to go through problems. So they aren't necessarily illusions, but they become illusions as we transcend them. Our problems diminish as we move intuitively. Remember, your intuition is your compass. As we move intuitively through life with a reflective point of view, that shift of, why am I in this? How is this happening for me instead of this is happening to me? Noticing when we're in the dance of being a victim to a victor. And then really asking ourselves, how can I solve this? But knowing in our highest form, our highest self, that we are able to solve any of these issues in a practical way. I'm being called to say the main way to solve any problems in your life or issues or barriers is to see, where can you be more generous to yourself each day? Where can you cherish yourself? It could be the time that you take for yourself, your body, the food that you put into your body. This is your vessel that your spirit moves in. Where can you add more joy into your own life? Where can you embrace the small moments and make them sacred? Practicing this gratitude and celebrating any insights that you've gained. Be generous to yourself first, because in being generous to yourself, this is the problem solving. Because as you do this, the more you are generous, aware, and kind to yourself and reflective, there will be a natural abundance authentic generosity, and an ability to provide for others in a realistic state of being and loving way. So let's go into the conclusion. And with the conclusion, I went back to the Healing Waters Rebecca Campbell Oracle deck. And I'll display this for you, but I picked a card I've never actually pulled before. And that oracle card was the Well Maidens. And it talked about how there were well maidens that saw the sacredness of certain areas and wells and how these were corrupted. But the main thing that I'm being called to share about this card is to have kindness, reverence, and compassion toward life. All things are sacred when we choose to slow down. When we embrace every aspect of life, even the tragedy and the hard times. We are called to be well maidens, to keep harmony and balance within ourselves first and foremost, which goes to the last card that we pulled. The generosity you show to yourself will bring the abundance, will diminish the problems that are in your life. Respect all things as sacred, and as a result, you have plenty to give. Just as the last card said to us, too, the more generous we are to ourselves, the more generosity we will have for others, the more abundance. So I want to close with really asking, like, how is our body, every part, and our mind, including our thoughts, emotions, belongings, gifts, being treated as sacred? How can we treat things with more gratitude and sacredness? We can slow down and offer kindness and respect to ourselves and then others and to the planet. It starts with self. A loving relationship with ourselves and being able to create that relationship with our future self. It starts with the self and the love and the God power that's already within all of us. And we can tap into that. I want to end today, and I had a journal entry I want to share with you guys. And I'll actually display this as well. You can end this reading with really being able to show that generosity and in that loving relationship to cherish yourself with how can you create a relationship with your future self, but embracing where you are in the here and now. You can really picture yourself in your highest form, moving in purpose. How does he or she move? How does he or she handle hits, that grit? Are we composed? Are we freaking out? Mentally exhausting where we do freak out in our mind. We can get connected to ourselves after creating this being in our mind because that's who we already are. I encourage you to just start to write like rolling ink, streaming consciousness of what does this highest being, this highest form of you truly look like without any stories or any limiting beliefs. How do you move? If you dropped all the stories, you stopped worrying what everybody thought, how would you move? Even asking yourself, who are you truly? What do you like? What turns you on? What turns you off? What are you afraid of? How do we react to fear and moving past these things? Because as we position and test ourselves and we really, really examine with loving kindness, who are we in battle? How do we show up in those moments? The grit is the battle that moves to the grace. We can rehearse this because, this shit gets hard each day. Life is meant to be hard sometimes. We must have the polarities. But on the other side, it's so worth it. And the impact that you make on your family line, on the people around you, and the relationships that you're in. Step into that arena with yourself. And the duality of the soft versus the fragile. The soft heart's open, knowing to your core to stay in vibrational alignment. but seeing where you're still fragile and where you still feel weak sometimes. And seeing that duality. And how do you step into the ring with yourself? Who are you on the way to the goal, but still seeing where you are in the grace? You are creating something sacred, even now as you took the time to listen to this. And I honor you. I honor me. I honor all of us. And let us step courageously into the lessons of love and be the examples of love out loud, a love bigger than ourselves, a love bigger than what this world has taught us. We are the change makers. I appreciate you guys so much. If you like this message and you feel like it would benefit someone, go ahead and share. And if you haven't subscribed yet, my channel is a mix of messages, of medicines of frequency, and of just getting through life with the play, but not escaping, where you are just in the here and now, pure acceptance. And I'm here for you. And I'm more importantly even here for myself so I can be here for you. And I want to be that example. So thank you for being with me today, and I'll see you soon.